Education, they say, is very pivotal for the growth of any society, and in Nigeria, education is taking the front burner as we see that the renegotiation meeting between the federal government team and the leadership of the non-academic staff union of allied and educational institutions NASU over the weekend ended in deadlock as the union walked out of the meeting, accusing government of not being ready for renegotiation. Recall that NASU and its sister union, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SSANU, under the umbrella of Joint Action Committee, JAC, had embarked on a 2-week warning strike in March, and after its expiration, it was extended to another 2 weeks.
Well, after storming out of the meeting, the General Secretary of NASU, Prince Peters Adeyemi, accused the government team of the Renegotiation Committee of lack of commitment and nonchalant attitude to the renegotiation, which is aimed at resolving the crisis. Meanwhile, Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour and Employment, says the federal government may consider taking the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, to the industrial court if the process to resolve the strike fails. So it's strike, 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 and then there is indeed a mention that a body will be taken to court. Well, this morning, joining us is Dele Ashiru, ASUU Unilag Chairman. Ekaro, and welcome to Breakfast Central.
Yeah, Ekaro, good morning.
I don't know whose Yoruba is better, mine or Joe's. Ekaro.
Ekaro. All right, let's go into the thick of the action now. Now, why is there a delay up until now in resolving the ASUU and Joint Action Committee strike? We've seen NASU now, we've seen SSANU as well. What's going on?
Well, is it really a delay or the lack of willingness on the part of government to quickly resolve the crisis? What is actually playing out is a long years of orchestrated attempt by government to cripple public universities so that the private ones would have an advantage over public universities. Unfortunately, the resilience of our union, and as we are currently witnessing that of other unions within the public university sector, is the thorn in the flesh of government and the bastion which is still holding forth and preventing government from destroying public universities like they have done in all other sectors, both of the economy and that of the society.
Okay, while we're looking at the strike issue, we also know that Chris Ngige, that is the Minister of Labour and Employment, he says the federal government may consider taking the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, to the industrial court if the process to resolve the strike fails. Now, you're saying that the government has been unwilling to listen to your demands, but now they're saying that if the strike continues, they would probably take the union to the industrial court. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, that man you call Ngige is a joker. He has a way of joking with very serious matter of national importance. The Minister of Labour and Employment had presided over at least 3 failed memorandum of action between government and our union. If we were in a more serious and saner climb, such a minister should have resigned. I mean, threatening to take us to the industrial court is an admittance of failure. And what are the issues? Our union is saying that expand facilities in the university system to make Nigerian universities globally competitive. Pay lecturers wages that can ensure that generations yet unborn can have a public university to go to. Is that what a Minister of Labour is taking to an industrial court? Are those issues not issues that are easily resolvable by a government that is committed to the development of its own society, the oath with which they swore to? So you can really see that there is really no seriousness and sensitivity to the pivotal role of education in the developmental stride of Nigeria in the hearts of people who claim to superintend over the future of Nigerians. So when you listen to people like Ngige, you feel that, I mean, this country is in their straits. These are issues that are within the purview of government. These are not irreconcilable differences. We are saying that put reagents in the laboratory, put journals in the libraries, and pay wages that can guarantee the future of public universities. As I speak to you, not only is it that our salaries have been stopped, we have been receiving the same salary since 2009, 13 years ago. There is no country in the world where such insensitivity is visited on the best brains in a society. And then you are threatening to go to court. Let him go to court. After all, we know that is eulogizing going to court because the courts are in their palms and are part of, you know, the oligarchy that is destroying the fabric of public education in Nigeria. So we are waiting for him.
All right. Mr. Dele, let's look at the fact that he is not just looking to speak with the educational bodies. Doesn't it surprise you that he's also gone in for the seat of president while this whole situation is going on? I mean, what do you make out of that, that a minister is also abandoning what is actually at the front burner to focus his attention on his political ambition to want to become the president of Nigeria?
You know, it's a laughable situation. Laughable because there's a way we reward failure in Nigeria. I just told you that if it's in a society that, I mean, the people are taken seriously, not only will he have resigned as a failed minister, but look at the effrontery, the temerity with which he's now, you know, campaigning to become president. Is it this charade that is, I mean, that has been the bane of the labor ministry that is going to take to the presidency? So you can see that this country is in trouble.
Okay.
With people like him.
Definitely. Now, Dele, I know that one of the issues on ground for ASUU is, of course, the issue of replacing the Integrated Personal Parole Information System, that's the IPPIS, to UTES. What exactly are the issues with this system of payment, that is the IPPIS?
Well, you know, our union as a union of intellectuals forewarned Nigerians that IPPIS is a fraud. It's a conduit for siphoning the hard-earned resources of the country. We were ostensibly told that IPPIS was meant to curb wastages in personnel and emolument costs, check ghost workers, and etc. But in a damning report by the Auditor General of the Federation, an agency of government described IPPIS as a monumental fraud. Not only that, only recently, the head of the civil service of the Federation, Mrs. Folasade Adeyemi, told Nigerians in a shocking manner that more than 3,000 ghost workers, ghost names, have been enrolled on the IPPIS platform. So we told Nigerians that IPPIS, you know, is a fraud. We are glad that our union is being vindicated by admission from those in the saddle. Secondly, the forceful enrollment of universities on the IPPIS is an aberration. There is no university anywhere in the world whose payment platform is an integrated personnel, payroll, and information system. Aside from that, as I speak with you, the flexibility of, you know, scholar turnout, intellectual turnout in terms of recruitment and placement in Nigerian universities is stifled by the implementation of IPPIs. What that means is that if any university in Nigeria, any federal university in Nigeria is to employ any new staff, the head of the civil service of the federation must assent to such appointment. There's nowhere in the world where that is done. Also, there are peculiarities within the Nigerian university system in terms of its workings, in terms of its global universality, which IPPIS had eroded. And we chronicled all of this danger and forwarded to government more than 3 years ago. It was the realization of that made government to throw a challenge for the first time to the Nigerian intelligentsia. They told us that if we didn't like IPPIS, we should provide an alternative, thinking that we won't be able to do so. But to their shocking, within 6 months of that challenge, our union at its own cost developed a very flexible, dynamic, transparent, workable, user-friendly, accountable software that would expose corruption and fraud going on in the Accountant General office. When we demonstrated the usage of UTAS to government, they saw in it the ability to check corruption and leakages in emolument in government. Rather than embrace it, government had continued to denigrate that software, in spite of the fact that even the technical committee of NITDA that was to license UTAS agreed with our union at the technical meeting that it is a software that Nigeria really needs. But politically, because those who continue to fleece the country saw that it's also going to prevent them from the stealing that is going on in government, and then they started mounting a political campaign of calumny against UTAS. So we have resolved UTAS is the way to go. It is also one of the demands of a condition in this ongoing strike action. Apart from renegotiating the 2009 ASUU-FGN agreement, the deployment of UTAS and the abrogation of the fraudulent IPPIS remains the irreducible minimum condition for considering, the suspension of this strike action.